Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am F3ARed's, and it is that time of the year again. Time to figure out what the best games of the years were. Time to ignore the rest of that little shit. Now, before we get started, just want to say some things. First of all this is just based off of my own opinion. I don't care about critics or that bullshit. Second, my opinions do tend to differ a bit from popular opinion. Third, there are two rules I want to lay down right now. One, it has to be a game that I've actually played this year. Which means, unfortunately, because I have not gotten around to buying a Wii U yet like I intended, games like Super Smash Bros. On the Wii U and Bayonetta 2, which even though chances are if I had played it would be on this list, will not. Even though by all accounts Bayonetta 2 is an amazing game, and I really need to get a Wii U, get around to getting a Wii U so I can play it, and Super Smash Bros. And actually a lot of other good-looking games on the Wii U right now. Moving on. Second rule is, due to the annoying amount of re-releases this year, if the game originally released anytime within a year that is not 2014, I am not counting it on this list. So GTA 5, Last of Us, Metro, no. Even though chances are, if I didn't keep that, all three of those would be on this list. That's actually the reason why I'm not allowing them to be on this list. So without further ado, let's kick it off with let's kick this list off with number 5. Starting off strong with number 5 is Infamous Second Son, a game which when it came out, I loved it to death and still love to death. Which is saying something, seeing as it's number 5. In fact, I actually thought this was going to be higher on the list when it first came out because I had no clue how kick-ass the end of this year was going to be. Actually, how kick-ass everything after this game was going to be. It has everything I wanted. It has the same sort of superpower sandbox gameplay, which I love from Infamous, mixed with a little bit of prototype with all the wall running, which really made the game feel all the much better. It is gorgeous even now, and it has some of the best characters the game franchise has ever had, one of which even getting their own spin-off DLC game, which obviously would be Infamous First Life with Fetch, which I was tempted to put this on there instead of this, but seeing as some people say that's a DLC for this, I chose this instead. Either way, it has some of the best characters, and really in the end, the only gripes I would have to say about this game would be the characters that are so much better than the previous game. Characters just kind of come into the story and go out just as quickly. And in the end, it's hi, goodbye, until near the end of the game when you're fighting Augustine, which is a slight downside. I mean, I did want to see Fetch doing more. I wanted to see Eugene kicking ass. Hank, not so much, but the other two I really wanted to see more of. And aside from that, the only other gripe I would have would be the fact that where the other Infamous games did have some interesting mini-bosses, this really doesn't have all that many, if any, really. But aside from that, it's one of the best games I've played this year, and gonna be honest, it's actually my favorite game of the whole Infamous series, just because of how the movement feels now. The smoke powers are fun to use, neon's fun to use, every one is fun to use. And that just makes the game feel all that much better. So in the end, Infamous Second Son gets the number 5 place on this list. Let's keep this train rolling and head for number 4. We have The Evil Within. Now let me tell you something. The Evil Within was a game I freaking needed. After the drought of actually new games that occurred during the summer, and then after the launch failure that was Drive Club, I needed something to really pick me back up for the year. Now, I didn't think it was going to be a horror game, but I decided, seeing as I might get the Order 1886 next year, which currently I have actually decided I am going to, I might need something to help get me used to the black bar idea. What I didn't expect was that I would love this game. Sorry about that. Had to burp. That I would love this game. It is one of the best horror games I've ever played. It doesn't jump scare you, it makes you constantly question what's going on. The fact that it's almost like old Resident Evil meets Silent Hill keeps me on my toes throughout the entire thing. I'm never sure what's going on, what I need to do. But yet at the same time it always has a little hint of what you need to do, but doesn't put it out in your face. Meaning it has that old school sort of respect for the gamer's intelligence. And even as hard as I can try, I will still get my ass kicked. Which, despite the fact that I have weapons that will allow me to fight back, I can still die very easily. Just makes it all the better because while I do love horror games like Fear, obviously, and Outlast, they both are missing something. With Fear, it's less because it's horror and more because I can feel like a badass with all the slow-mo. So the fact that you're too powerful makes it so it can't be scary. In Outlast, yeah, it's scary because you're defenseless. But in The Evil Within, it's perfect. You can fight back, but the fact that you are still, even with all your weapons, you are still on the weaker end of this balance. You still have to actually fight to survive. It makes it all that much better. And even the black bars, which some people have complained about, I actually have grown to like because A, I stopped noticing they're there within 5 minutes of starting the game. And B, for a horror game, having that constricted view just makes it feel all that much more tense. Adds a little bit of claustrophobia into the already questioning what's going on, never being able to really know what's next. No game has made me wonder, what the fuck? So much in such a way that this game has, which is why it is on this list, although only at number 4, but it's still on the list. And at number 3, we have Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I hope you weren't waiting for a punchline, because I'm not giving you one, I'm actually being serious. I fucking love this game. It is exactly what I needed from Call of Duty, and I think it's just what Call of Duty needed, period. It took away trying to be all serious and just made the gameplay fun again. And while some people complain that it's still the same shooting action that it's been for the past few years, I honestly don't see a problem with that. Like the saying goes, if it's broke, or if it's not broke, don't fix it. And the shooting in Call of Duty is not broken. It hasn't been. The shooting is fine. What hasn't been broken is everything else. Everything else that can easily be changed for the better hasn't been up until now. We have score streaks returning from Black Ops 2, except instead of just returning, they've been improved with the fact that it keeps you better informed about how much you have to go until you get the next one. Customization is improved beyond what any other Call of Duty has done, while still bringing back the customization system from Black Ops 2, which I really liked. Combine that with the new movement abilities, which turn it into simultaneously the fastest paced Call of Duty I've ever seen. Yet at times, it can take you longest to kill someone, because if they're dodging behind cover and you're dodging after them, it turns into almost a chess match of a shooter, which is something that you don't see a lot of, if ever at all. combine that with a story that kept me going with a smile the whole way through, and the co-op mode, which, while not the most interesting, does give us a sneak peek of DLC mode that is looking to be incredibly interesting. Yes, I am talking about the Exo Zombies. So, but still, it gives us fun. And this is the first Call of Duty game in years that I've been able to get my ass beat and still end up with a giant smile on my face because I had fun the whole way through. I'm so happy that this game is the way it is. It fixes what I hated about Call of Duty over the past few years, and adds things I didn't even think I wanted, while even adding in a whole sci-fi theme, which I love science fiction. I love it to death. This is why games like Killzone I freaking love, because I am a giant sci-fi nerd. I love that shit. So being able to actually have a sci-fi Call of Duty is amazing to me. I even bought the freaking $80 edition with the steelbook and all that shit. Do I feel guilty? Hell no, because I love it. I feel like I got my money's worth. In fact, once I finally get done playing The Evil Within, which I have yet to finish, ironically because of when this game came out, I will go back to playing this. Because I love this. And at number 2, we have Dragon Age Inquisition, which shouldn't surprise anyone, really. I mean, this game is completely amazing. Now, personally, I did not think I was ever going to like this game when it was first revealed. Not because of issues with BioWare's past games or EA, even just because stereotypically I am more of the sci-fi sort of person than the fantasy sort of person. So more Fallout and Mass Effect than Elder Scrolls and Dragon Age. But leading up to the release of this game, there was so much critical praise for it. And then once it came out, even my own friends were praising this game. So I'm like, there has to be something to this. And there is. The game is amazing. While I don't like to use the more strategic control method, the combat is fun, regardless of whether I use that or the normal method of just fighting directly. The skill system is pretty large, so there are a variety of ways to play. The story is good, but in some ways not as good as I know BioWare is capable of, which is one of the reasons why it's only at number 2 and not number 1. But yet, despite that, the game is great. Does it look amazing? Yeah, it looks alright. On one hand, I kinda expected more, but the other hand, the game doesn't look like shit. It looks good, but thanks to games like Infamous, I'm a little spoiled with graphics sometimes. Oh well. Yet the gameplay is fun. The world is massive. I finally beat the main story after 60 hours, and that was because I said, screw it, I have other games to play. I had to beat Far Cry, I had to get to playing GTA. There were so many games that I had yet to play because I was still playing this. And I have yet to explore everything. I've only done one playthrough, so I haven't even tested all the different ways to play at all. This game is simply one of the best RPGs I've ever played. And it stands a testament of what a game can really do compared to its predecessors. I mean, the fact that I usually hate fantasy-style games does not keep me from enjoying this. Should go to say that this game really is amazing. like I said, the only gripes I would have about this one are some of the story ratings, especially with the main villain, who, because the game is newer, I'm not going to say anything at the risk of a spoiler. But let me just say that while you'd think they would be built up as a continuous, ever-present threat, they're not really. The only two times in the whole game they seem to be an actual large, immediate threat is when they appear, and at the very end when you fight them. Now, usually this wouldn't bother me a whole ton, but compared to the fact that I know BioWare can do this better, seeing as in Mass Effect 3, the Reapers were written to always be such a threat. They're always present, always dangerous, and you know that they're always killing people. The game does not let up with reminding you of it, which made it a really good writing. Up until arguably the ending, but let's not talk about that. But despite that, the characters are all well written and likable. Iron Bull's funny as all shit, Varric's funny, Dorian's funny. Sandra's kind of a bitch, but whatever. Morgan even made me chuckle. In the end, there's so much to love about this game. And oh boy, will I love it. And have I loved it. Carrying on. And our grand winner at number 1 is Wolfenstein: The New Order. I know I've said this a lot already, but I fucking love this game. It's just a great game. It's, as far as single player shooters go, it's one of, if not the single best that I've ever played. The gameplay, the level design, the enemy design, the weapon design, it's all fun. And yet the story manages to actually be serious and have weight to it. Which, again, at the same time, it doesn't take itself too seriously. You know, what Bethesda the studio that developed that, I can't believe they were called Machine Games, or something to that effect. What they did with this game is what should have been done with Duke Nukem Forever. In fact, actually, when this game first announced, I was a little afraid of the Duke Nukem Forever thing, because remember the last Wolfenstein wasn't that great. I'm like, maybe those older first-person shooters just can't do it nowadays. But I was wrong. Wolfenstein is amazing. It takes what was good about the old one and yet keeps it there, but doesn't forget about newer things. For example, the health system is a great mix of old style and new style shooters, where the health regenerates to a point, but then you need a health pack to get it past that point. It, along with your armor, the weapons, it's like they just went, screw it, how do we make these more fun? I mean, come on. I can dual wield assault rifles that have underbarrel rocket launchers on them. The hell? Dual wield fully automatic shotguns that have shells that bounce around everywhere. Freaking laser gun powered by a freaking battery made by a secret set of super scientist Jews. I can use laser guns and put Nazis on the moon. There's so much ridiculousness in this game. It works so well. Which is one of the best games I've played in a while. I'm not saying something considering this year that was done pretty kick ass. What they did with this game is made me really hopeful for the new Doom game that's really coming out at some point. I'm sure when that comes out, it's going to be really fast. Which is like this game was incredibly kick-ass. I mean, I can shoot Nazis and stab one of their buddies, taking my duels fully out of shotguns, and shoot a Nazi robot in the face. There's nothing that I don't about that. The game is just fun. Plus, the collectibles unlocking new modes through the Enigma codes that add whole new challenges to the game itself. It's interesting without a doubt, and yet a fun challenge regardless. And even the final boss is an interesting sort of throwback to the final boss of Wolfenstein 3D. Yeah, it ain't Hitler, but dude still got a frickin' mecha suit with machine guns, or well, Gatling guns rather. What's there not to love? It's just a great game with great influence. So, yeah, very tough. So we have Infamous Second Son, Evil 10, Call of Duty, Dragon Age, and the winner is Wolfenstein. Thank you for watching. I'll see you some other time.